Hey guys, welcome back to another video. TXT Rex here, and today's video is Hunter x Hunter Season 1 explained in minutes. By the way, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, let's get into the video. The show starts off where we see Gon getting ready to go take his hunter exam to become a professional hunter. He gets on a boat with a bunch of other people who were also going to be taking the hunter exam, but the first test wasn't specified. But the first test was basically who could survive a big storm while they were on the ship. But there were only 3 people who survived the storm. It was Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio. So those 3 went on to the next round of the hunter exam, which was an endurance part of the test. They must have ran like more than 200 miles because it took forever. But that was when Gon met his best friend throughout the whole show, which is Killua. Killua at the time was much stronger than Gon, but you couldn't really tell that at the time. But after they did the endurance test, a bunch of people failed that part of the exam, but there were still about 200 people left in the hunter exams. But the next part of the hunter exam wasn't any easier. They still had to run, but at the same time, they had to fight off monsters that were in the island. But the main problem was that this really strong character in the show named Hisoka, he already knew Nen, which I'll talk about later, but he never used his full power against anyone he saw. In my opinion, Hisoka is the most developed character in the show. You see how he doesn't use his full power during the exams. The pacing for Hisoka was perfect, one of the only characters whose potential was filled by the end of the show. But fast forward into the second part of the exam, it's a taste test with this fat ass and this other girl who are basically professional taste hunters. They look for exotic foods to hunt and cook and taste them basically. So everyone who made it to that part of the exam had to kill these giant 20-foot pigs, then cook it. But it was impossible to satisfy the woman there. So then the chairman, Netero, pops out of nowhere and says this part of the exam will be replaced because it's impossible. So the next challenge is you gotta jump down and get an egg from a spider's nest in like a ravine or something. Some people died because they didn't expect what was going to happen. But Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio and some other people made it past this part and were on to the next part of the exam. So they got on an airship and go to the third phase of the exam, and most people sleep on the ship, but Gon and Killua stay awake and tell each other stories. Killua tells Gon that he comes from a family of assassins, and Gon tells Killua he wants to be a hunter because he wants to find his dad, Jin, who just runs off one day and never came back. So they finish telling their stories, and they cross paths with the chairman Netero, who was interested in their abilities, and Gon and Killua get tested to see if they can take a ball away from Netero, but they never make any real progress, so Killua gave up, and Gon kept on going till he made the chairman use his right hand, which satisfied him. Moving on, they got to the third phase of the exam, and it was a tower they had to get down in 72 hours. The part that they were on, they had to take 5 members with them, and of course they got unlucky and got the fat ass who always cucks. But yeah, they had to fight these prisoners and they have to win like 3 out of 5 rounds. First round was the fat ass and he just gave up, and then Kurapika, Gon, and Killua won their battles, so they all went to the next part of the tower. But Leorio made a bet, which he lost of course, so they had a 50-hour penalty where they just sat in a room. So after they left the room, they continue on the third phase and they finished with like 1 minute to spare. Moving on to the fourth part of the exam, everyone had to pick a number out of this bin, and whatever number they pick is their target. So everyone at the hunter exam has a badge with a number on it. The rules of the fourth phase of the exam is that if you get the person with the badge number you picked from the bin, you get 3 points, and if you get a random badge, you only get 1 point. So everyone picks a number and goes into the woods in 2-minute intervals. So Gon gets the most unlucky badge, which is Hisoka. So when Gon gets into the woods, he thinks of a plan to get Hisoka badge. He comes to the conclusion that he'll tell Hisoka, and when he gets into a fight, he'll use his fishing rod and grab his tag off of his shirt. And Gon tails him and succeed in getting Hisoka badge. But then one other applicant came and paralyzed Gon with a dart and takes both badges. But Hisoka came and dropped the guy who paralyzed Gon, and he gives Gon's badge back. He also gave his own badge to Gon because he doesn't need his own badge now. And Hisoka wants to fight Gon when he obtains great strength. Gon is kind of pissed at him because he didn't want to just get these badges for free, but he just has to take them and walks away. Gon finds Kurapika and Leorio and helps them get their badges, and they're all round up at the starting point. 9 applicants return to the starting point and advance to the 4th phase. This is a tournament part of the exam, and all you gotta do is win 1 time, which means that only 1 person will fail. But the twist is that you cannot kill anybody, and if so, you'll be disqualified from the exam. So the first fight was Gon versus One Punch Man clone. That's actually not his name, but he looks exactly like him. But yeah, and Gon basically just gets beat up during the whole fight, but never gives up. Like usual, another one-sided fight, but One Punch Man decides that he'll give up because Gon won't. So yeah, Gon is left in coma during Killua's match. Killua gives up his first fight because he's not interested in fighting that person. But that comes back to bite him when he draws his older brother, Illumi, who tells Killua that he's not built to be a hunter and he should become an assassin. In fear, Killua gives up the fight when Illumi uses Nen, and Killua killed the person that Leorio was gonna fight. So he was disqualified and he has to leave the whole arena, and he returned home. So basically all other 8 applicants pass, except for the guy who died, so should I really say all 7? And Gon confronts Illumi in rage and asks where Killua is, and Illumi says that he probably went back home. So Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio all arrive at the location and talk to this old man who says that the only way to get into the house is that they have to open a bunch of doors, starting with the one that weighs 2 tons, and increasing from there. So they met one of the guards, and she says that they cannot move past this line. So Gon keeps getting his ass kicked because he keeps going past the line, not wanting to leave. So she gets sympathetic and lets them through. While this is happening, Killua is getting beat by his fat ass brother for disrespecting his parents. Killua's grandfather arrives and tells them to stop and let Killua go. Moving forward, Gon and his friends get led to this butler who makes them do a test in which if they fail, they can't get into the house. So all they have to do is pick which hand a coin is in. Killua walks in the room right on cue and they leave. Leorio and Kurapika leave doing their own things. Leorio wanted to become a doctor and Kurapika wants to look for a job as a hunter. They all agree to meet up September 1st at York New City. And yeah, that's basically the end of season 1. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. If we can get 20 likes on this vid, there'll be a season 2 review. TX3, we out.